Hello, everyone. I am Apoorv Saxena. I am the global head of AI at JP Morgan. And I wanted to thank everyone, including especially IT Bombay Alumni Association, for organizing this fabulous conference. I'm looking forward to listening to some amazing set of speakers, including my personal favorite, Nandan Nilekani. As a background, quickly, I'm a IIT Bombay alumnus as well, class of '98. Just want to make sure you guys can able to hear me well. As I said, I'm class of '98, H5. So all hey to all the IIT Bombay alumnus who are on the screen. A big theme of this conference is scaling financial services and FinTech. And I'm going to share my own personal experience of building, applying AI at scale at JP Morgan. As a background, after graduating from IIT Bombay, I did not go to one of the IIMs. I ended up doing MBA at Wharton and spent some time at McKinsey in the US and in India, and then Google, and then at JP Morgan. And so we'll love to share my experience doing both. So let me start sharing my screen. So a lot of you probably don't know what JP Morgan is. JP Morgan is the #1 bank in the US in terms of assets under management, $3.4 trillion to be exact, around $31 trillion under custody, which is probably 8 to 9% of all assets within financial services institutions in the world. JP Morgan processes around $6 trillion of payment. So it's a big wholesale payment business in the world, and operates in almost 100 countries and even more number of legal jurisdictions. It's a full service bank. It provides investment banking, capital market services, asset management, consumer banking, and also business to business banking. And this scale is not possible without earning the trust of our customers. And that trust comes by actually being in business for more than 200 years. Bank survived the Great Depression, including the Great Financial Crisis. And as a result of this trust, 1 in 2 US households bank with JP Morgan, and almost 80% of all Fortune 500 companies bank with JP Morgan. And in this business, trust is key. And so building trust at scale is even more difficult than people think. And having comes from, let me just move my screen. Having come from a tech background, sometimes I've seen people confuse scaling in technology versus scaling in financial services. Like take an example of TikTok. When you add scale TikTok, every incremental user or marginal user, as long as the cost of adding that user is fixed, is net incremental to your bottom line, incremental to your valuation. That is not the case in financial services. As you scale, if you scale indiscriminately, every additional user in the financial services industry or a company can actually be negative or infinitely negative and leading to bankruptcy. So a big piece of scaling in financial services is about scaling responsibly. And AI, an application of AI in scaling responsibly is critical. And I'll walk you through some very specific examples of how we are doing that at JP Morgan. So what does that mean? So we have around 300 plus use cases of how we are applying AI across all our businesses. These are very limited examples here, but I'll give you some more color beyond this. So for example, take example of client acquisition. When you try to acquire clients or customers at scale, especially on the B2C side, you need to make sure that the onboarding experience is extremely seamless. We have a goal of 3 minutes to onboard a new customer into our digital platforms. 1 or 2 minutes to make any critical decisions, at least in the early life cycle of the customer, whether they are credit worthy or not, and then zero touch during the process. There's no way this is possible for us to achieve this goal without applying AI across the process. For example, the information that we gather from our customers, amount of input fields that they have to fill, what documentation they provide, ability to understand that documentation is critical, whether it's driver's license ID or their passport IDs, using AI to understand what that ID is. Is that a real ID or a fraud ID, or is it a synthetic ID? Especially with the rise of synthetic identity and GANs, it's very easy to create fake ID, and we have seen a huge increase in synthetic ID being created. And ability to identify synthetic identity over a real identity is a key piece. And so we are using the AI there. Once you onboard a customer, understanding where there's fraudulent activity going on with that account, extremely critical. So we are applying AI in detecting fraud within transaction or credit decision process, and using AI across the sort of handling of client from all the way to onboarding to actually serving the client with zero touch is another area where we are applying AI. Within broader in the asset management, portfolio management pace, we are started applying AI in creating thematic portfolio. So for example, green energy is a great theme, but green energy is again highly divided and sort of very diverse. People want to invest in solar power. How do you understand that what in a portfolio of companies that you have, which of these are actually talking about solar power to as a user versus talking about generating solar power? There's a huge differentiation. Ability to mine that data, understand what companies are suitable for a portfolio, and then understanding the risk profile of those companies to construct a portfolio is where we are applying AI. Another area where we have seen a huge application is ESG. ESG thematic investing is emerging, but the metrics that inform ESG portfolios are extremely complex, and most of the information on governance, sustainability is not well structured in company filings. You have to derive these factors from looking at unstructured data in reportings and filings in government filings. Ability to all gather that data, create metrics that are trackable and in real-time updatable is an area where we are applying AI. We are using AI to price assets, whether including options pricing, bond pricing, and so on and so forth. Another area where we're using is around broader areas, risk management. Risk management in a company at this scale is almost impossible if you are not applying AI across the board. To take example of COVID. During COVID, when COVID hit very differently across various regions in the world. Some regions were highly impacted, others regions were not impacted, especially in the beginning. Ability when you're looking at when you have a global credit portfolio, ability to understand which regions are impacted, and then looking at your book to see which businesses, which kind of businesses, travel businesses were severely impacted, online businesses were in fact positively impacted. So ability to understand that risk, identify that risk, and then price that risk is extremely critical. Not only just for our own investor purposes, but also for regulatory purposes. We needed to provision credit losses. If you provision credit losses without fundamentally understanding of a book and how it is impacted differently by region, by type of industry, is extremely critical, and we applied AI for that. Other area where we applied, when the U.S. government gave loans to small and medium businesses, a lot of the information that the small and medium businesses were giving to us came in very different shapes and forms. Somewhere, a lot of these businesses don't keep books or the financial records in a systematic way. Ability to understand information from this varied sources, parse that, create structured data from this, and then use that for underwriting was something that we applied AI for. Again, as I said, we have been applying AI across the board, and we fundamentally believe unless as you think about building fintech business in India and scaling it in India, if you're not already thinking very actively, digitization is a given. You will not build $1 billion or a billion fintech company that serves 1 billion people without building it on a modern digital stack. But if you're not applying AI in every process of how you handle a customer, how you manage your assets, how you provision your risk management, you will not be able to scale. And that's the key message I wanted to share. If you want to learn more, we have almost, I believe, 20,000 people in India. We are very aggressively recruiting, especially around AI, in AI, cloud. And so if you are interested in learning more of what we are doing, especially in this area, please reach out to me on my LinkedIn, or go to JP Morgan Careers to learn more if you're interested in working for us. Thank you.